Alright, today's video is to hopefully help you out at home with estimating quotients. That's today's homework. So every time they do this, they have to solve. They may use any method they want. Once they get the answer, then they have to estimate to check their answer. They did this in multiplication, so they also have to do it in division. So here we go. When you do this, there are two different ways that you can estimate to check your answer. The first way is to take your answer, the quotient, and round that. Another way you could do it is to take the big number, the dividend, and just change that to make it easier to divide. So I'm going to show you both ways to do this. First one that I already did for you is rounding the quotient with 423 divided by 5. So when you do all the work, any way you did it, I just did step by step here for my model. I got 84 with a remainder of 3 as my quotient. So when I'm looking at 84, I want to round that to something really close to check. So because of the fact that 84 is really close to 80, I just rounded 84 to 80. And what we're talking about in class a lot today is that you have to fully understand that division is really nothing more than backwards multiplication. So your quotient times your divisor should be your dividend. So the 84 times 5 would be 420, and then the remainder of 3 is your what you add on, and that's how you get 423. So you just take the top times the side, and that gets your quotient, or the big number down below. So what I'm doing here is taking 80 and I'm multiplying by 5 to see if it's really close to what I divided by. So 80 times 5 is 400, and 400 is definitely reasonable to 423. It's close. Remember, it's estimated. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just tells me, like, you know what? This is close to the real thing. I know that I did the problem correctly. So here's another example. I did 871 divided by 4. And my answer, after I did all of the steps, you can see all the steps on there. So do the problem. Make sure you're getting the right thing. And then I have 217, remainder of 3. So once again, I thought, okay, well, what is 217 really close to? And 217, it's 17 away from 200. I still think that would be reasonable enough to do it that far. I told the kids a lot today that you don't want to round too far away from the real thing. You want to make sure that it's close enough. So 200 is fine. So 200 times 4. Once again, doing backwards division here was multiplication. 200 times 4 is 800. 800 is, decent enough to 871 to know that you're reasonable. Sorry about my daughter there. She's having fun on the bed. So, moving on. Going to the next problem is 983 divided by 4. Once again, you have to get the answer. Do that first, and then you're going to want to estimate to check. So, 983 divided by 4 is 245 with a remainder of 3. By the way, remainders really don't mean much when it comes to checking it for estimation. You're just kind of rounding to get, to see if you're close enough. So here's a situation where I'm going to want to do, going to 200 is definitely not close enough. Dropping 45 groups, that's iffy. I wouldn't be comfortable, doing that for estimation. So what I told the kids is, like, sometimes you're going to have to round to the tens place just to make it a little bit more reasonable. Rounding a 3-digit number with a 0 in it and multiplying by that should be really easy for these kids. We did that all last chapter, 19 lessons of multiplication. So they should be able to do the 250 times 4 pretty easily. And if they're not, then obviously that's something that we need to work on more in the future. So 250 times 4 is right on 1,000, and 1,000 is really close to 983, so that tells me that I am, once again, very reasonable in my answer. Alright, so now when it gets a little bit bigger, you have to be a little bit more careful in what you are rounding to. So, obviously 6,721 divided by 5. After doing all of the step-by-step work, I got 1,344 with a remainder of 1. And this is definitely a situation where you do not want to just round to the nearest place value of a thousandths place, because you would be dropping 344 groups. There's no way we can do that and be reasonable. So, when you're dealing in the thousands, though, I mean, I would just round straight to the hundreds place. I wouldn't worry too much about the tens place and the ones place for this purpose. So I just changed 1,344 to 1,300, and I multiplied that by my groups, my divisor, which is 5, and I got 6,500. And 6,500 is definitely close to 6,721, so that once again tells me that I am reasonable. Now the other way to do it is to change the big number, your dividend. And you have all permission to change it to whatever you want. Obviously, as long as it's close to the real thing, you will be fine. It's reasonable to do it that far. So, here's a situation where I'm looking at 4,932 divided by 6. And I know that 6 obviously can't go into thousands place, so I'm going to combine it with my hundreds place. So I'm looking at 4,900. Once again, for this part, I really don't care too much about my ones place and my tens place. I'm really just wanting to get to my hundreds place here. So I'm asking myself, okay, what can 6 go into perfectly that's really close to 49? So what I do in my head is I do all my math facts here, and I find the one that's the closest. So obviously 6 times 8 is 48. Well, 48 is really, really close to 49, so that's a really, really good choice. That's the best choice I have. So what I can do is literally take the 49 and change it to 48, and then just drop some zeros down below, or in the tens place and in the ones place. 4,800, 4,932, close enough. It's going to be reasonable enough to do it that way. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. So when I get my answer, once again, yes, you need to get your answer. 4,932 divided by 6. Do that first. Have them go through all of the steps. You get 822 as your answer. So instead of rounding the 822, I'm actually going to change the 4,932 the dividend. And like I said before, last slide, I saw that 49 was really, 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 really close to 48. So I just changed that to 4,800. They should definitely be able to do 4,800 divided by 6 in their head. This is definitely mental math by now. I see 2 zeros down below. I have 2 zeros in my answer, so now I'm just looking at 48 divided by 6. 48 divided by 6 is 8. So there you go. 800 is my new rounded answer. Now I check my answer. So 800, 822, definitely reasonable, definitely close enough, good to go. So here's another example, a little bit smaller. 343 divided by 9. Once again, just do it. Get your answer. I got 38 with a remainder of 1. So I'm looking at 343. What can I change 343 to? That would be something really easy for 9 to go into, or that I could divide 9 by. So once again, I start thinking about my division facts, or my multiplication facts rather, and I got, okay, 9 times 3 is 27, that's close. 9 times 4 is 36, that's even closer. Yes, it is above. That's okay, we're estimating. You can go above, you can change it and make it go up. You can do whatever you want, it's estimating. So that is totally fine. So I'm actually going to change the 34 to a 36 here, and just put a 0 in the ones place once again, because in the grand scheme of things, when you're estimating, ones places really don't matter. So 34, I'm going to change to 36. So now I'm looking at 360 divided by 9. Once again, they should be able to do this really pretty quickly in their heads. I have a 0 once again here. I put that 0 up top, and now I'm really just looking at 36 divided by 9, which I know by my math facts is 4. So my rounded estimate, my estimated answer, my rounded answer is 40. The real thing was 38, remainder of 1. That is definitely reasonable. That is definitely close. So really, with estimating your answers, the biggest and most important part, obviously, is to get the real thing. That's top priority. When you get to the answer, you have two choices. You can either round that answer, or go ahead and change the dividend. Change that big number to something much easier to work with, so you're not going to get remainders and all that other stuff in the ones place, and sometimes even in the tens place. Well, good luck tonight on your homework, and I hope this really helps.